Hey folks, it's Trina here, executive and leadership coach for women leaders who work in mission-driven organizations and companies. And I specifically work with women who are feeling depleted and exhausted, who are looking for ways to lead and make an impact in a way that's sustainable long term. So if that sounds like you, you're in the right place, and I'm so glad you're here. And today we're talking about why nonprofit leaders fail to make real change in organizations. And this is something that a lot of nonprofit leaders struggle with. It's like you want to see change not only in the mission or the cause that you care about, but also within the organization itself. And when you're a leader, you get to see behind the scenes, you know how the sausage is made, and there are a lot of things that you want to see change, but you might be constantly, bumping up against struggles. And this is something that can really cause depletion and exhaustion, where you're working yourself to the bone. Maybe you're running around in circles and things really aren't getting done the way you had hoped. And this is, it's a struggle. And it's really not easy. And so I think what's really special and unique about being a nonprofit leader is not only do you have all of the traditional responsibilities and roles of a leader, of someone in leadership, you're managing teams and budgets and, you're strategic planning and all those sorts of things, but you also have this cause and this mission that you feel responsible for and accountable for. So there's stakeholders, there's communities, there's other people that you really are invested in, and something that probably is personal to you in some way. And so when you put all of that together, it can cause a lot of stress for some people, but also that feeling of, oh, I really want this to work. I really want this to be successful. I really care about what I'm doing. And none of these things seem to be getting at what I really want to accomplish. And so I think it's really important to know that you can't fix it by yourself. And that's really where it starts to fall apart, is when you feel like you're the only one that can do all of this. And so, and especially if you're the kind of person where you're responsible for your team, but maybe you're also tethered to, or you report to someone in the C-suite or on the board. And so, there's often this tug of war between who needs and wants what. And that can be really difficult to deal with. And I'm going to be very candid and say a lot of why you're failing is because maybe the way the organization is running, that this is how a lot of people want it to actually run. And even if it's not successful, even if, initiatives and different things that you try that you want to succeed, rest assured that everyone doesn't necessarily see it that way. And this can be really hard. This is something that a lot of my clients struggle with who come to me. It's like they've been in this field for a while, and what they've realized is, wow, I've been working really hard and I'm not seeing, the kind of results that I had hoped for, or we've been working on all these things that don't really answer the question or really solve for the mission that we're here to support. And one of the things that I would encourage you to do is to make sure that you're in the right question and that you're solving the right problem as a nonprofit leader. Because one of the things that I know I've experienced and I see with clients time and time again, whether it's an organization I work with or an individual that I work with, is you can spin your wheels focusing on the wrong things that don't actually move you forward. And you do that because focusing on the right thing means that, maybe people are going to be fired. Maybe, there's some really hard conversations that often have to happen so that you can focus on the right thing. And sometimes it can be, where you feel like you're so caught up in, you're worried about the money and fundraising and all those things that are really important to an organization, but you lose sight of why you're doing it in the first place, what the money is really for, what's the purpose of all of this to begin with. And so this is something that becomes really important. And I would also ask, do you understand the big picture of the organization where you work? Again, I think where a lot of leaders struggle is when you realize, oh, everyone is not on the same page here, or people are here for different reasons, or, maybe some people here actually don't care about how this mission gets solved, or how we go about coming up with a solution for whatever problem that we say we care about. And it's one of those things that as a mission-driven leader, you have to decide for yourself what role you really want to play. And it's very easy to get in these organizations and to feel like, oh, I'm really doing some good, until you really get down to the nitty gritty and you realize the things that maybe you're doing as an organization or as a team really aren't working. And so you have to ask yourself the question why, and really be willing to have an honest conversation about what it is that you really need to do. And know that a lot of times an organization may not support what that answer is. And so the reason why you're failing is because you know the truth of what will really matter and make a difference, but maybe the organization or a team doesn't want that or doesn't see it that way. And so then you have a decision to make. Do you stay and, keep getting your check and do what you need to do because you care about the people that you get to work with, even if the organization isn't really trying to solve for the problem that you really know is, or not really taking the solution that you know is really going to help solve the problem. And like I said, this is really tough for people, but this is the thing that you're contending with, and this is why you're failing. And so you have one of two choices. You can choose to stay where you are and keep doing what you're doing, and that path often leads to burnout because you're not doing the things that are really going to make change. Or you say, you know what, I really want to do something that's going to really solve for the problem or the mission that that I set out to solve. And you're the only one who can decide that. It's just you. And so one of the things that I unpack with my clients is how to go about doing that and making those decisions, because it can be really hard, especially when it's a cause or an organization that you really care about and really love. When you have these realizations as a leader, it can be very eye-opening, it can be sobering, it can be heartbreaking, it can be disappointing and frustrating, all of those things. And so, having someone to walk alongside you as you unpack all of that can be really beneficial because, like I said, when your eyes open to a lot of these things as a leader in some of these organizations, it can be really jarring at first. And so, having that support can be really crucial. So I hope this was helpful. If you're in an organization and you feel like you're failing as a nonprofit leader, I encourage you to check out the free Sustainable Leadership Guide that you can get. The link is below this video to help you understand a little bit more about you as a leader and what your needs are, and a little bit more context around leadership in an organization that I think you'll find really useful. So that's all for today. Take good care, and I'll talk to you soon.